In this lesson, we are going to show you how you can use log analytics alerts in order to be alerted by a text message every time the CPU of a machine goes over a certain value. So it's a little better than receiving an email, so you don't have to check your email constantly, and you can be reminded by a text message that there is a problem that needs to be looked at. For that, we are going to implement a small piece of code, which is very, very small, using Azure Logic Apps. We are going to open the previous created Azure Web Logic app. Since it's empty, it's going to ask us what we want to do, and we say we want to process an HTTP request. When it's received, we are going to process it. The first thing that we need to do is define the schema of the message. Since we don't want to use the schema that is defined by OMS alert, we are going to use our own message. So we are going to create a sample payload in order to define the message. So the message is going to have an attribute called message that will have the real alert body, and is going to have a to attribute that means the phone number where the message is going to be received. And the schema is going to be created automatic for us. We also define that we only want to process posts. And that's it. When the message is received, we need to do something. So we will add a new step that will be an action that is going to use the Twilio service, and will use the service to send the text message to a real phone number. So we will use this action called the Twilio send text message. And we have previously defined a connection, in this case my production connection, that's going to send message to real phones, and we just say that we want to use this phone number as the message, as the message will be sent, and the message will be sent to the phone number in the message itself. And the body of the message is the message that is going to be sent by the alert. And we have now created a web logic that when the webhook is received is going to send the text message through Twilio. But now we need to define the alert, and we can do it in two ways. We can define the alert manually, or we can create a query, and from the query you create the alert. So we need to get alerts when the CPU time is too high. So we are going to query the performance object processor with the counter name of processor time in the total of time. And we'll see here that we have data already in the previous hour and before. But we want to summarize it. So we want to measure it, the average of the value aggregated by computer in intervals of 1 minute. So this will give you a chart, and we can see here that in the last hour the CPU has had quite a few spikes. So we want to create an alert that will alert us when the CPU is a little high. So we now define the alert, and we give it a name, iCPU. We say it's critical. The query is already filled up for us, and we want to just look at the last 5 minutes, so we see how the CPU has been in the last 5 minutes for all the computers. So we want to check the alert every 5 minutes. So every 5 minutes the alert will be triggered, and if the alert goes after a certain threshold, we will be alerted by a text message. So what we want to do is a metric measure that says that if the average that we specified in the query is over 50%, and there are total breaches greater than 1, we say greater or equal to, that will be enough. So we say just 1, so it's greater than 0. We want to be alerted. We don't want an email notification, so we disable, and we say we want a webhook alert. Let's get the URL for the webhook for the Logic app. So we created here, so we just copy it and we are going to paste it, and this is going to be sent to Azure. We defined a custom custom JSON, so we want to define a custom payload. We can see here that there are some macros that we can use in order to to add some customized results to the message. For the example, the alert rule name will mean the alert that has been triggered. So we will create here our custom message. So we say message, and the message will say wake up, alert name, been triggered. And we are going to send a text message to my phone. And we could test the webhook here, or let's just going to trust it and let's going to save it. Now we will wait a few minutes to see if this has worked. So in order to get the message, I'm going to open here my phone. This is my real phone, and if the alert is received, we'll see it here. In the meanwhile, there is a solution that is called the alerts management that will allow us to see all the alerts that we have received. So while we wait for the message, let's add a solution here that is called alert management. Every time an alert is sent, a message is also added to OMS, so we can query if you want it, and the alerts management also allows you to see the alerts that are active, or the number of alerts that we have received. We can see here that we have all the alerts. In the past 24 hours, we have received 2 critical alerts, and hopefully we'll receive another one in a few minutes. So we have now received the message, and we can see here that we have received a message that says that a high CPU alert has been triggered. So we can see how easy it is to process an alert with a WebLogic app and process it, and instead of receive it by email, receive it by a text message. At the action, you could use anything else either than a text message or anything you wanted. You have seen how you can use alerts in order to receive alerts from any other way that is not supported out of the box from the system. As you can see, it was very easy to write an Azure WebLogic application that sent the text message as soon as it received the alert via a webhook. We could send it to somewhere else. It doesn't need to be a text. It will be something that you can configure, something that makes sense for your organization. Instead of using a webhook, you could also use an Azure runbook if you wanted to. It would be just as easy as using a WebLogic application, or you could implement a webhook using a more traditional programming language.